Python and PyODBC installation. We use PyODBC for connecting to SQL Server, connecting Python to SQL Server. So download and install Python. This is the link from where we can download the Python. https://www.python.org/downloads. If I go there, you got the python.org website, and this is the downloads. Here you can download Python 3.9.1. This is the latest version currently. So you can download the Python from this site. Python download is quite straightforward download. Now the next step would be, by default, Python gets installed at the following location: C users XYZ app data local programs Python python.9 scripts. We'll replace XYZ with the folder name in your computer at C users. And this XYZ is different for different users, so you can search where your Python has been installed with this path. Python will be installed at this path, and you can look at path and go to the folder where Python has been installed. Now let us install Microsoft ODBC driver 17 for SQL Server x64 or for x86. Generally computers are 64-bit, so you need this x64, but according to your requirement you can download the ODBC driver. For that, we go to this location. I'll give this location paths in the description. Let me go there. Here you can download Microsoft ODBC driver 17 for SQL Server x64, or download Microsoft ODBC driver 17 for SQL Server x86. Generally most of the computers will have 64-bit, so you can download the first one and you'll get the drivers so that we can connect to the SQL from Python. So this is the download ODBC driver for SQL Server, and it is at documents.microsoft.com and this path, which I'll give it in the description. Now type cmd in your search box and right click command prompt, run as administrator. Yes, this window will open up. Here we'll go to the Python path. So here we will paste this path: cd users, c users, and whatever name here, appdat local programs Python python39 scripts. So we'll go to that path, the scripts path, and then we will type use pip to install pyodbc. So pip install pyodbc, pip install pyodbc, and when you press enter here, it will install the pyodbc. I have already installed pyodbc, so I'm coming out of this window. So if you click enter here, then it will install the pyodbc, and this pyodbc is used to connect Python to SQL Server. Now we are ready to run Python in command prompt. But if you want to install Visual Studio and install the Python support in Visual Studio, if you already installed Visual Studio, you can modify that to install the Python support, or you can download the Visual Studio with Python support. So if you don't have Visual Studio installed with Python support, then we can go to this path. If I click here, the docs.microsoft.com, this preview how to install Python support in Visual Studio on Windows. Here clearly the steps were given to install Visual Studio 2019 and Visual Studio 2017. So here the steps are given where you can follow these steps and install the Visual Studio. These 4 steps, I mean, you can take the help from these steps to install the Visual Studio. If you have already installed Visual Studio, then we can go to this link. This is modify Visual Studio by adding or removing workloads and components. So now we can use this link to modify the Visual Studio to install Python support. Here he has given clearly the steps. How do you modify and modify workloads? And workloads, we have this Python development here. We can choose that Python development, and then we'll get the Python support in Visual Studio. Now let us check whether Python has been installed. Here, go to the search box, type cmd, enter. We'll go to the location C users, type py here. We get Python 3.9.1 tags. These are the tags: MSC, type help, copyright, credits or license for more information. So if you get this information when you type py at this location, then Python has been installed. Now you can start working from this prompt. Check the Visual Studio, click on Visual Studio, and then check for Python application. So if it is not showing up, you can search for the Python application, and this Python application will open up and you can start the Python application, and you can start writing code in the Visual Studio. This will come up in a second. So it is showing up. So now you can work on this Python application. So with either you can work on the command prompt or on Visual Studio. In both the cases, you can write the code, but in Visual Studio it is convenient to save the files and run the code rather than on command prompt. But it depends on which environment you prefer to work on Python. Python introduction. Python is a high-level language. It can be processed at runtime by interpreter and can be interactive. It is also object-oriented. It can be used as a scripting language. It can be integrated very easily with Java, C, C++, etc. It can run on various hardware platforms and so is portable. It can connect to different databases. It supports GUI. It is scalable. It can handle big data. Now let us go to the command prompt, cmd command prompt. Here we will go to this path, this app data, local programs, Python, Python.9, wherever it is your system. Now we are here. Now we type py. This gives us that Python exists in this system, and we got this where we can type the code. So here let us type help keywords. So we got these keywords. Now let us type help. We'll get the symbols. Copied and pasted here. Double H E symbols. So we get the symbols here. These are all the symbols in Python, and above we got the keywords in Python, and now we'll get some topics in Python. Help topics. Here a list of available topics. Enter any topic name to get more help. So suppose you want to know about dictionaries. So let us copy this, say help dictionaries. Here we got help about the dictionaries. Pressing small q brings you back to the Python prompt. Now let us import built-ins. Print dir of built-ins. So these are the Python built-ins. So this after importing built-ins, import built-ins, and then after printing the dir of built-ins, we get the list of these built-ins. Now let us see how we can write code here. A small code. X is equal to 10 and say print X. It has printed 10. Now type of X is, it has printed class int. So that's how we can write the code here. Now let us go to this one, Visual Studio application, and then see how here I already written import built-ins print dir of built-ins. Let us run this and see. Start without debugging. It has displayed all the built-ins. So in the Visual Studio, we can just write x is equal to 10, print x, and type of x. We will print the type of x also. So print type of x. Start without debugging. So x is 10 and type of x is class integer. So in the installation itself, we have seen how to open this Python application in Visual Studio, and this is how you can start writing your code in Visual Studio. So now we have seen both how to write the code in command prompt and then Visual Studio, Python SQL. Let us retrieve data from a SQL Server table. So here, first of all, we have to import py_odbc. While installing Python and giving connection to the SQL Server, we might have installed py_odbc there. So if you go through the installation steps, there will be there where we have installed this py_odbc. So we are importing py_odbc, and here we are giving a connection object conn is equal to py_odbc.connect, and this is driver is equal to SQL Server. Server is equal to /SQL Express. Database is equal to SQL Python Basics, because here I have this database SQL Python Basics in SQL Server. And trusted connection is equal to yes. Now let us declare this cursor object. Cursor is equal to con.cursor. So this connection object dot cursor, and cursor dot execute select star from cities. Cities is the table name. So if I go here to the SQL server, in SQL Python basics database, I have this cities. So this will give us what cities are there here. So these cities are there. There is connection here. SQL Python basics. Let me execute this. So we got these city names: New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, Paris, and London. So now we are executing this cursor and selecting star from cities table, and rows is equal to another object we have created. Rows is equal to object or variable, we can say that rows is equal to cursor dot fetch all, and we are printing those rows. So let us, and here we are closing the connection. We can as well close the cursor. Now let us execute. So now it has fetched the records from the table and displayed as New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, Paris, and London. So it has given it in a single line. Now let us print them in separate lines, each city in a separate line. So I commented this print rows and commenting this print of star rows comma separated by slash n. Slash n is the new line character. Now if I execute this, so we got it in separate lines because we have given the new line character there. Now if there are no rows in the table, then let us see how we do that. Let us comment that, and this part is only if there are rows, print rows, otherwise don't print rows. So if I execute this now, if there are no rows, let us see, I created one more table, this one CTCI, this is CITIES, and I added one more S in the end and created this empty table. So now we'll change this to cities, and this is an empty table. So, and now we are saying if rows, print rows, because there are no rows, it shouldn't print anything. It didn't print anything. There are no rows, it didn't print anything. Start without. That's how we can get the, if there are rows, we can get the rows, otherwise if there are no rows, it won't print anything. So we are checked with a condition if rows. So this is one way of retrieving data from a SQL Server table using Python. Here we used cursor.fetchAll. Now let us use this for loop and retrieve the rows. So let us part, and let us separate this part because we need the cursor.close and count.close, and this connection initially we need this, and the cursor we need this, and here cursor.execute select star from, go back to the city. It is not an empty table, and this part of the code let us change it to a for loop. Now for row, here you can give any number for I or for n or something in cursor dot fetch all, print row. So let us execute, start without debug. So for each row it has for each city it has printed in a separate row. So previously we have given a new line character to separate to separate the cities into different lines, but here when we use the for loop we got them each city in a separate line. So previously we used this cursor dot fetch all into rows, and then we have used /n to separate them into different lines, but here for row in cursor dot fetch all print row, this is giving us the cities in separate lines. We have retrieved one column from a table. Now let us retrieve multiple columns from a table. Here we have a table here. It is called marks. This marks table has got multiple columns: student, subject, and marks. So let us try to retrieve all these three columns from SQL Server table using Python. So this part, connection part remains same, and then the closing part remains same. We'll change this part of the code. Here we are taking cursor dot execute, select star from marks. This is the table we are using, and rows is equal to cursor dot fetch all, and for row in rows we are printing student. We have got three columns, right? Student, subject, and marks. So we are printing student, and that will be the first column, that is row of 0, and printing subject, that is row of 1, and printing marks, that is row of 2. This is the first column, second column, and third column. Because indexing starts with 0, it is 0, 1, and 2. We are printing a new line character for each. So that it will be printed in separate lines. Let us execute this. Okay, now we have this subject, maths, marks 90, and student A. Here student A, maths 90, student A, physics 80, student A, chemistry 70. Just check this database. Student A maths 90, student A physics 80, student A chemistry 70. Chemistry 70. Similarly, we have B maths and A physics and B chemistry. Let us see the database again. B maths, we have repeated the A physics in the database. So if we change it to some other, this should be B. So if we change it to B, then it will retrieve it as B, because it is a mistake in the database. It came out as it is. You can change it and then retrieve it. So but it has retrieved that data here, and B chemistry is 60. So let us change it to change this mark, edit, we change this to B. Now let us say this B. Now let us run this. Now if we go down, so here we got B maths, B physics, B chemistry. So that's how we can retrieve multiple columns from SQL Server table using Python. Now in the end, let us print length of rows, len rows, rows. Then one more one, print n of rows. Let's execute and see. So there are 6 rows. Let us check the database. There are 6 rows. So that's how you can print the number of rows using len of Python. Data types are integer, float, complex number, boolean, strings, list, tuple, set, dictionary. We'll look at some of the examples, and these list, tuple, set, dictionary, these things will deal with them in depth in later videos. Integers. Let us look at integers. They can be of any length in Python. Now let's print integer. Define debug. Start without. That's printed 25. Now let us print type 25. Display what type it is. Start without is class integer. Similar way into float. Print 1. Start with is 1.1 is float. Print type is 1.1. Start without is class float. Another data type is complex number. Complex number is in the form of a real number plus an imaginary number. So there will be a real part and an imaginary part for a complex number. Let us print type of this number also, that number 2. 2 plus 3 debug. Start with our debug. So 2 plus 3j is class complex. We want to display infinity, say print 1.8e308. This number is equal to infinity. Debug. Start with our. So this number is showing as INF, that is, it is infinity. In case of a float, you can as well display it as print 1.1 e2. That means it is 1.1 into 10 power squared. Start without debugging. That is 110. You see this 1.1 into 10 square is 1.1 into 100. That is 110. So that's how we can display these integers and then the integer types, and float types, and complex number, and type of that number. So type can be used to display what type of data type it is. String data type. Now print, you can use a string in double quotes or in single quotes. String data type, string test. I can just write string test. This given it in double quotes. Print string test. This I have given it in single quotes. So if I debug or debug string test. So we can use either double quotes or a single quote to display the string. What if there is a single quote inside the text itself? Let's see, print. We are using single quote and there is a single quote inside the text itself. Python's string test. Then this will fail because here we are using a single quote and for displaying the string itself we are using a single quote. So it may think that the string might have ended here. So if I try to run this, then I'll get an error. So to avoid that, we can use double quotes, Python's string test. Let us delete this. So it will print the string with single quote. Now we can achieve the same functionality with escape sequence. So I use the single quote, Python, I'll use the escape sequence, then I'll use single quote and yes, Python's string test. Save it, start without debug. So it has did that with single quote. So if you are using a single quote to display the string, then you can use the escape sequence, this backslash, to display that single quote. Or to display the single quote, we can as well use double quotes. What is there is a double quote inside the string itself? Print. I say he said that Python is the trend now. So we have a double quote here. Now if we give double quote here, then it will error out. Debug, start without debugging, error out. So we should use now single quote. Use the single quote. Now save it, start without debugging. So he said that Python is the trend now. So if there is a double quote inside the string itself, we use the single quote. Or we can use the escape sequence. Let us give this in double quotes. So the string itself has got a double quote. So we use the escape sequence here and here. So now we execute this. He said that Python is a trend now. So that's how we can either use the single quote if there is a double quote inside the string itself, or we can use the escape sequence to get rid of that double quotes in the string, or to show that double quote inside the string itself. Another way is just use the triple quotes. Copy this, paste this. So instead of a double quote here, if I say triple quote, and instead of this double quote ending, I'll end it with a triple quote. So we have this string with these double quotes, and let us remove this escape sequence. because we have given that triple quote. Now let's see the result. So he said that Python is the trend now. So we can as well use the triple quote to display the double quotes inside the string. If you want to split it into two lines, print is the first line and end with a new line character /n. Say this is the second line. It debug, start without debug. So this is the first line and this is the second line. That's how you can split it into two different lines using the /n. /n is the new line character. If you use the /t, it is a tab character. So to give a space of one tab. This is the first line and then there is a space of one tab and this is the second line. That's how you can use this string data type. We can as well find what data type it is using the type by p of, I say a, and again start without debugging. This class str, that is, it is string data type. Now boolean data type. Boolean data type. So print 1 is equal to 2. You say 1 is equal to in Python is double equal to. 1 is not equal to 2, so it will display false. Let's see. So it has shown us false. Now let us say print 1 equal to, see what it will show us. It is true. So that's how we can use this boolean data type. Python datetime. Python datetime is a built-in module. The classes are datetime, date, time, time delta, easy info, and time zone. Datetime. We can import the datetime from datetime. So from datetime, import datetime. And we'll store this datetime.now in a variable DTM. The datetime.now gives us the current datetime. So we can print this variable now, print DTM. And DTM has got these methods. If I say dot here, we'll get these methods here. Hold on. All these you can arrive from this DTM variable. So we are printing DTM.today, DTM.date, DTM.day, month here, and UTC now, and timestamp. And here we are importing time, printing time.time. Time.time is nothing but epoch time. It is number of seconds that have passed from 1st January 1970 to current time. The same is the case with timestamp. Gives us the number of seconds that has passed from 1st January 1970 to current date time. So let us execute this. So first one is we are printing datetime.now, that is year, month, day, hour, minutes, seconds, and then millisecond. And dtm.today also gave us the same thing, date and time, hours, minutes, seconds, and then millisecond. And then dtm.date is, we got YYYYMMD. The day is 8th, month is February, so 2, year is 2021, and UTC time is 2021 to 8 and 6:32, because here the time is 12 o'clock. So 5.5 hours, India is 5.5 hours ahead of UTC. So the UTC time would be 6:30 in the morning. And the next one is the timestamp. Timestamp is number of seconds passed from January 1st, 1970 to current date time. And then time.time also, number of seconds passed from 1st January 1970 to the current date time. So these are some of the date time methods we can use to find out the current date time, day, month, year, UTC time. Let us build a datetime variable, DTM1. Datetime of year is in the YYYY format, 2021, month, day, and hour, minutes, seconds, and then these are milliseconds. And let us print this DTM1. Here, as well, in year, from here, just print that here also, just what it is print. Execute. So here, this is the one which we have built, 2021 to 8, 12, 11, and 26, and these are the milliseconds, and this is the year we have printed here. We have seen date time. Now let us see date. Let's hit this, and from date time we'll import date. We'll take a variable dt is equal to date dot today. Will give us the current date. Here we are printing that variable dt, and here date dot weekday of dt. We're trying to print that weekday of this, and here we can convert it to string date dot today using strf time, and this is for month, day, and year. Let us execute this. So from date time import date, dt is equal to date dot today, and we are printing dt. This date is 2021 to 8, and date dot weekday of date is showing 0. Today being Monday, it is showing 0. And date dot today dot strf time percentage bdy, that is month, day, and year. The month is February, day is 8th, year is 2020. So this is how we can print the date icon. We've seen date. Now let us see the time. So we are importing time. We are printing time dot time. Time dot time is nothing but we have just seen that seconds passed since 1st January 1970. But if you want to know the exact time or date time, then we can say time dot c time. So it will convert these seconds into the this string of date time. Let us execute this. So these are number of the seconds passed from 1st January 1970 till the current time, and today is Monday, February 8th, and 12:22:41 is the hours, minutes, and year is the 2021. So C time can be used to find out what is the current local time, and time dot time is used to find the number of seconds that has passed since 1st January 1970. Now let us look at strf time. strf time converts date time, date, and time objects to string. Let us import datetime from datetime. From datetime, import datetime. We create a variable dtm is equal to datetime dot now, and we print this str of time, mdy, vdy, ymd, and hms. And here we import time, and we print time dot str of time, hms, time dot str of time, mdy, hms, time dot str of time, small a, capital A, small w, small z. Let us execute this. Now let us see the results. First one is dtm dot str of time, percentage m, percentage d, percentage y. That is 0 to m is month, is February 02, and d is 08, and year is 2021. Next one is percentage b, percentage d, percentage y. Percentage b is giving us the month name in abbreviated format, that is FEB, February. 08 is a percentage D, and Y is year 2021. Next one, it is giving us year, month, day, and time, hours, minutes, and seconds, because we have defined H, M, and S. Next is import time, and time dot str of time, HMS. It is giving the time, just the hours, minutes, and seconds. Next is time dot str of time, MDY, and HMS. So it is giving us the month, day, and year, and then HMS is hours, minutes, and seconds. Next we have printed percentage small a. Small a is giving us the month, the week in abbreviated format, MON for Monday, and capital A will give us the week in full format, that is Monday. On W is giving us 1. 1 is the weekday. Today is Monday is 1. Starts with Sunday is 0 and Monday is 1. So it is on W will give us that weekday in number, and percentage capital Z gives us, this is the Indian Standard Time. This time zone is Indian Standard Time. We have seen STR of time. Now let us see AC time. AC time converts time to a specific format. We have taken a variable LT, which is time dot local time, and let us import time here, and this is the local time. We are printing the LT, and we are taking another variable TM is equal to time dot AC time of this LT. We captured the local time in the variable LT, and we are printing it and showing it that local time as it is, and we are captured in another variable TM the time dot AC time of LT, and we are printing this TM. Let us see. Debug, start with the, so the local time, we got the time structure, year, month, day, hour, minute, seconds, week, day, y day, and ISDT is equal to 0, that is daylight saving time is 0. So here we have converted it, the next step we have converted it to a format using the AC time. So the format will be Monday, the weekday it is showing, and the month in abbreviated form, and this one 2021, this is 8 is today is 8, 13:05, 20 is the time, and 2021 is the year. So this is how this AC time converts the time and into a particular format and gives us that particular format. Now let us look at CRP time. CRP time converts string to datetime object. From datetime we are importing datetime. We have taken a string str 8 February 2021. We are printing str and we are checking the type of that string, and taken another str1 variable and converting it to object datetime.strp time str comma percentage d percentage b percentage y. This is day, month, then year. Print str1. We are checking the type of the str1. Let us execute this. So first one is printing str 8th February 2021 and type is class string. And here we are converted it with strp time. Got this 2021 to 8. This is in the date format. We have converted it, and we are checking the type. Type is class date time. So because this is in the date time format, time is shown as 0000. So that's how we can use this strp time. Now let us look at GM time. So from time, we are importing GM time and strf time. We are printing the GM time as it is and printing strf time percentage z GM time. So converting it to a string, the GM time. So currently the time is here in India, it is around 2 p.m. So let us see the GM time. So first one we have printed GM time. It is showing 8:29, 8:30, 8 seconds. It is around 8:30. Here it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we are 5.5 hours ahead of GM time. So 8:30 plus 5.5 hours is 2 p.m. So when we converted it to here to string here, CRF time percentage GM time, it giving us 5:30 plus 5:30. So 5:30 ahead of GM time. Now let us look at calendar. Import calendar. We are printing calendar dot. You press dot here, you'll get the help here. So we are printing calendar dot month for the year 2021. Month is February, that is 2. And calendar dot weekday of 2021 to 21. February 21st, 2021. What will be the weekday for that? And we are printing here calendar dot first weekday. With what number the first weekday starts. Let's execute this. So calendar dot month is February 2021. This calendar has been printed, the first one. Second one is calendar dot weekday of 2021 to 21. So 221 is this Sunday. Sunday it is printing it as 6. So the first weekday should start with Monday, which is 0. 0 to 6 will be 7 days. So first weekday is 0. So because it is starting with 0, so Monday should be 0. Sunday is, it's saying Sunday is 6. That's how we can use this calendar function. Now let us look at time delta. Time delta gives us the difference between two dates or times. We can go ahead in time or behind time using the time delta. So from date time, import time delta and date time. So here we are taking time delta, and these are the parameters we are passing. Days is equal to 10, hours is equal to 10, minutes is equal to 10, and this is the date time dot today. And here we are printing date time dot now plus time delta of days is equal to 10. So 10 days ahead of today. Now this is date time dot now plus time delta of days is equal to -7. That is, we are going back 1 week. Let us see the results. So the first one is time delta days is equal to 10, hours is equal to 10, and minutes is equal to 10. So it has printed 10 days, 10 hours, 10 minutes, and 0 seconds. Next is date time dot today. Today is 2021 February 9th, and 11 hours, 55 minutes, and 29.849772 seconds. Next one is date time dot now plus time delta days is equal to 10. We are adding 10 days. So when you add 10 days to today is 9, February 9th. When you add 10 days to it, it will be February 19th. 11:55, 29 point, same thing here. And date time dot now plus time delta of days is equal to -7. So 1 week and behind. So this is 1 week behind. February 9th would be February 2nd. This 2021 February 2nd, 11:55, 20. So that's what that has printed. Now we are here we are from date time we are importing date and trying to find out the difference between due dates. So dt1 I have taken this as date 2021 February 8th, and dt2 I have taken 2021 February 1st. So the time and the days, number of days difference is 7 days. So here we are saying d is equal to dt2 minus dt1 dot days. So if you give a dot here, you get the help here, you can select the days. So we are selecting number of days between these two dates. So let us see what it has given us. It has given us -7, means dt2 minus dt1 is 1 minus 8 minus 7. So this is how we can use time delta, and we can use this difference in number of days. Now let us look at time zones. Import date time as DTM. Let us take a variable str is equal to DTM dot date time dot now, DTM dot time zone dot UTC, and then we'll get the time zone name, easy name. This will give us the time zone name. Now let us print str. Let us execute this. Now it is printing the time zone name is UTC. Now if you want the local time zone name, let us take one more variable str1 is equal to dtm dot date time dot now, dtm dot time zone dot UTC, convert into local time zone, we will use AS time zone dot TZ name, the time zone name. This should give us the local time zone. Let's say print str1. Let us execute now. Indian Standard Time. So this is the local time. AS time zone gives us the local time zone, and we have got the time zone name. So it is showing it as Indian Standard Time. Here it is showing it as UTC, and here we are getting as Indian Standard Time because we are converting it to local time, AS time zone. Now let us construct this date time. From date time, put date time on time zone. Let us take a variable x is equal to date time. Here is 2021, month is Feb, and day is 18, and currently let us say the time is 7:30 morning, and the time zone PJ info is equal to time zone dot PC. So this is time zone is TJ info is time zone dot UTC, and it currently, suppose it is 7:30 in the morning on this date. So let's print I execute this. So it is showing 2021 to 18 7:30 in the morning. That is the UTC time. So now let us take another variable, convert this x to local time, AS time zone, and then print y. Now if I execute this, so local time zone is, this is the IST time, local time is here IST, that is Indian Standard Time. So if it is 7:30 in the morning at UTC, so we have to add 5.5 hours to that, because Indian Standard Time is 5.5 hours ahead of UTC. So if you add 5.5 hours to 7:30, it will be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. 7:30 plus 30 minutes is 8 o'clock. 8 plus 5 hours is 13. So 5.5 hours. So we have converted it to local time. If it is 7:30 in the morning at UTC, it will be 1 p.m. in India, that is Indian Standard Time. So to know which time zone is this, we can get the time zone name. Let us take a variable z equal to y dot z name, time zone name. Let us print that. See, this is Indian Standard Time. So if it is 7:30 in the morning in the UTC, that is 7:30 in the morning as per UTC time, then it will be 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and that is Indian Standard Time. So that's how we can use this time zone information to get the different times in the different time zone areas. Python operators. Following are Python operators: arithmetic operators, assignment operators, bitwise operators, comparison operators, logical operators, identity operators, and membership operators. Let us look at some examples of these. Let us look at some examples of arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are basically addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Basic operators. Let us take an example. 1 plus 2, 3, 1. Let us say divided by 2. And print this here the result. Save it, debug, start without debug. So it is 3. Answer is, so that's how we can use this basic operators. The other operator is modulus. Modulus gives us the remainder. Let us see an example. Print 2. Modulus is represented by percentage symbol. 2 modulus 2. Let's see this example. 2 modulus 2 is 0. The remainder will be 0. So it has given us the remainder. So the modulus operator gives us the remainder. Let us see an example for exponentiation. That is squared or cubed. Let us print 2. Exponentiation can be given by double star. 2 double star 3. That means 2 cube. Let us see, debug, start with is 8. 2 cube is 8. It has given us the result 8. The other is the floor division. So if I say int here, let me write it down. This is the modulus. This is modulus operator, which is percentage symbol, and this is exponentiation, that is double star symbol, is 2 cube is 8. Now let us see what is floor division. Let's say 7. Double division by operator is floor division. 7 by 3. Let's see what it will give us. Is 2. 7 by 3 is 2. So it has rounded off to 2. It should be 2 point something. It should be 326 and then 3 1.2.3. So 0.3 it has taken out and then it has given us 2. So this is what we call this floor division. Let us see another example of floor division. Print 7 by 4. Let's take the calculator. Say 7 divided by 4 is equal to 1.75. Let's see the example. It has given us 1.75. But if I do a floor division, double division, start with it will give us 1. The answer is 1 because has not considered 0.75. Here also it has not considered that zero point 0.3. So these two examples are for floor division. This is for exponentiation. This is for modulus, and these are the basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So these are the arithmetic operators. Assignment operators. X is equal to 1. So we are assigning 1 to x. Print x. It is printing 1. Now we can assign in another way. X is equal, let us take y is equal to 2 and x plus is equal to y. Now if I print x, this means x plus is equal to y means x is equal to x plus y, that is equal to 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. So here when we assign in this way x plus is equal to y, then the answer we should get should be 3. Let's comment this part out because this is just an explanation. Now debug, so it has printed 3. So initially x is 1, and for that we are adding y. That's how we represent added it. Instead of x is equal to x plus y, you can as well say that x plus is equal to y. Similarly, we can say x minus is equal to y, x into is equal to x star is equal to y, or x modulus is equal to y. So all other operators you can use to represent in this way. So these are the ways you can assign the operators. Now let us look at some comparison operators. Say comparison operators. Print 1 equal to 1, 1 equal to 1. Print 1 not equal to 1. This is equal to and this is not equal to. Let's see these two first. First one is 1 equal to 1 is true, and 1 not equal to 1 is false. So let us see other comparison. Just print 1 is greater than 2, print 1 is less than 2, print 1 is greater than or equal to 1, print 1 is greater than or equal to 2. So let us run this. So first one is 1 is equal to 1 is true. Second one, 1 is not equal to 1 is false. 1 is greater than 2 is false. 1 is less than 2 is true. 1 is greater than or equal to 1 true. And 1 is greater than or equal to 2 is false. So that's how we can use these comparison operators. Now let us look at logical operators. The operators. So AND is the logical operator. 1 is equal to 2 and 1, 2 is equal to 2. So if it is AND logical operator, then both the conditions should be true. Otherwise it will be false. False. 1 is not equal to 2. So let us print this. 1 is equal to 2 and 2 is equal to 2. Start with. So it is false because 1 is not equal to. So with AND operator, both the conditions should be true. Now if we take the same thing, say OR instead of AND, and let's run it, we get true because with OR operator, only one of those conditions should be true. This condition is true, so this or this. If both the conditions are true, it is 1 equal to 1 and 2 equal to 2, then both the conditions are true. So with AND operator also this you will get true. So here we got. Now the same thing, we can negate this. Let's say this not. If you say not, then it is negating it. This. The first one is false because 1 is not equal to 2. Second one is true because 1 is equal to 2 or 2 is equal to 2. Third one is 1 is equal to 1 and 2 is equal to 2 is true. Fourth one is 1 is equal to 1 and 2 is equal to 2. We are negating with not. So it is false. We'll look at membership operators. Membership operators, they check the membership in a sequence. So for example, we are checking whether 1 exists in sequence 1 comma 2 3. So 1 exists here, so it is true. Let's print this. So true. So now let us say print whether 4 exists in the sequence 1 2 3. Debug, not without debug, it is false because 4 doesn't exist in that sequence. Now let us say print 4 not in 1 comma 2 comma 3. Now let us debug. It is true because 4 is not in this sequence 1 2 3. So membership operators check whether the membership exists in that sequence. Now let us look at identity operators. Identity operators, they compare the memory location. Suppose we will take a list. A is equal to x comma y. B is equal to x comma y. Now let us compare these two. Print B is A because they look the same. B A is equal to xy, B is equal to xy. But when we say B is A, is the identity operator. These are pointing to memory locations A and B. So these two memory locations are different. Even though the values are the same, the memory locations are, so B is A should be false. B is A is false because they are pointing to different memory locations. Suppose we'll take another C equal to A. Now, if I say print C is A, C is pointing to the same memory location as A because we assigned A to C. Now, if we say this is true, C is A because they're both pointing to the same memory location. I say print C is B because A is not equal to B. C, even though it is equal to A, it shouldn't be equal to B. Is false. So here B is A is false, C is A is true, and C is B is false. So not the values that we are comparing the memory location. That's the reason why this is showing the results like this. Now let us look at bitwise operators. The binary number for decimal 1 is 1. For the binary number for decimal 3 is this one. Now let us assign x is equal to 1, y is equal to 3, and try to print x ampersand y, x and y. Let us debug, start without debugging. So it is printing 1. The binary number for 1 is this one. So when we are taking x and y ampersand symbol, then we are getting 1. So in case of this AND, what happens is there is 1 on both the binary numbers, then it will become 1, otherwise it will become 0. So here we have 1 in the AND, so we got 1 here. Rest of them we don't have 1 in both the numbers, so rest of them become 0. So that number is nothing but 1. So x and y, the binary is 1. And we say print x or y. Then in that case, when there is 1 in any of the places, then it will become a 1, otherwise it will become a 0. So this is printing 3. X or y is printing 3. It here. So here 1 and 1 has become 1 here, and 0 and 1 has become 1 here, and rest of them are zeros. So all the zeros and then 1 1 is nothing but number 3. So this is number 3 and this is number 1. X and y has printed number 1, x or y number 3. This is how the binary manipulation goes. Now let us look at exclusive OR. So this symbol is exclusive OR, print x exclusive OR y. So let us start without debugging. So it has printed 2. So in case of exclusive OR, if there is here, let me drag this a bit so that it aligned. This one goes. So in case of exclusive OR, this 1 and 1 has become 0, and there is only 1 here and 0 there, so it has become 1. So if there are 1s on both the numbers, then it will become 0. Only if there is a 1 in one of those numbers, then it will become 1. Rest of them are zeros. This decimal number is nothing but decimal 2. So that's how we can operate these bitwise operators to arrive at the numbers. Now let us see how we move the bits. Let us take p x. We move the bits to the left, and let us print p. So x is nothing but 1. 1 has got this binary number, and we are moving to the left. X less than 1. We are assigning it to p and printing p. Let us see what this number will become. It has become 2. So this is nothing but 2. 2 is this is the binary number for 2. So how this happened? This 1 has moved here to this 0 position, and this 0 has moved to this 0 position. So each one has moved to the left by 1 position. So here we got 1, and rest of them are zeros. So this 1 0 is nothing but, we know that does represent the decimal number 2. Now let's negate the numbers and see. Just printing here and, so that we can see these will start after this end. Print negate 1. Let me print 3 more. So negate 2, negate 3, negate 4. So let's see what this prints. So these are numbers after this it has printed, and this is -2, -3, -4, and -5. So here we have printed 1 2 3 4. So 1 has become 2, 2 has become 3, 3 has become 4, and 4 has become 5, and there is a negation sign. So each number, one number should be, one digit should be added to this, and then it should negate it. That will be less negate of that negation of that number. Python lists. Before that, let us see what are all the Python collections. The Python collections are list, tuple, set, dictionary. Ordered or indexed. List is ordered or indexed, and tuple is also ordered or indexed, but set and dictionary are not. Changeable. List is changeable, tuple is not, set and dictionary are also changeable. Allow duplicates. List and tuples allow duplicates, set and dictionary does not allow duplicates. Now let us look at examples of lists. Lists can contain items of same or different data type. So let us take this variable num is equal to 10 20 30 40 50. List we can represent with this, and we are printing this num here, and we are printing num and colon, printing num of 1. It starts with 0. So indexing is starting with 0. So 0 and first item is 20, and 0th item is 10. So num of 1 should be 20. Num of -1 is -1 counts from the end. So this should be 50. Let us execute and see the results. The print of num, it has printed 10 20 30 40 50, and print of num and colon also it has printed the same thing. So either way you can print the list. And num of 1, it has printed 20 because the indexing starts with 0. And num of minus 1 is, it will take from the end. So minus 2 would be 40, minus 1 is 50. Now let us see some manipulations of this list. So we have taken num1 is equal to num plus 70. We have added one more item 70, and we are printing that num1. Now num1 of minus 1 is equal to 60. So we are making the last item as 60. So we are printing that num1. Then the last item will be 60 now instead of 70. So again we are appending to num1 70. So and again we are printing that num1. Let us execute and see the results. So we have seen up to this part 50. Now num1 is equal to num plus 70. So we have added 70. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and 70. And next one is num1 of minus 1 is equal to 60. So we have changed the last item to 60. So 70 has been changed to 60. So and we have printed that. So it has printed 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And now we have appended num1 dot append of 70 and then printed that num1. So it has appended 70 to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 70 has been appended to this list. Now let's replace some values and see. Let me comment this part of the code. Single quote can be used to comment that part of the code. Now we can see only the results for this. So here I am taking num2 is equal to 17895. Now I want to replace 789 with 234. So here I am just printing whatever it is 17895. Then I am replacing num2. 1 is to 4 means this is the index 1. So 1 to 4. This is 1, 2, 3 up to 4. So up to 4 means we have to consider only 1, 2 and 3 positions. This is excluded. This fourth position is excluded, and first position is included. That is index 1 because index of this is 0. So num2 1 is to 4 is equal to 234. I am replacing 789 with 234. So let us execute this. So initially we printed 17895 and after replacing it with 234 it is 12345. Now let us see how we can delete 234. I just want to delete this 234 and only 1 and 5 should be there. So num2 of 1 is to 4 is equal to empty brackets. So here print of num2, that will print 1 and 5 because from 1 to 4 we have 1 to 4 means 4 is excluding, 1 is including, so that will be 2, 3, 4 will be are blanked out. So 1 and 5 will be displayed, and num2 is equal to, this is a total blank out. Let us execute this. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is there, and here we got only 1 and 5, and here total blank. Now let us look at nesting list. So let us comment this part of the code also. Now here we can check the nesting list. Here I'm taking this variable num1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, num2 is equal to 4, 5, 6, and num3 is equal to num1 comma num2, and printing that num3. So num1 comma num2 is this is 1 2 3 is num1 and 4 5 6 is num2, this comma this. So this is the 0th element, this is the first element for num3, and here I'm printing num3 of 0 2. The 0th element is num1 in num3, and in num1 again we are going to the second item, that is index is second. So num1, the second item is, this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2, that would be 3, and num3 of 1 2, that means num3 of 1 is, the index 1 is num2, in that we are picking the second item, that is 0 1 and 2, that is 6, and here I am taking a list and adding these two and printing that list. Let us execute this. The first one we have printed num3. Num3 is 1 2 3 comma 4 5 6. So for num3 this is the 0th element and this is the first element, and next we are printing num3 of 0 2. So 0th element for num3 is this part. In this we have to go to the second element, that is 0 1 2, that is 3. So it has printed 3. Same is the case with the second print, that is num3 of 1 2, that is 1 is this one, and in that the second element is 6. So it has printed 6. This is the 6, and a list is equal to 1 2 3 plus 4 5 6. So it has added up 1 2 3 and 4 5 6, and we are printing 1 1 3 times, that is 1 1 1. It has printed print 1 into 3, so it has printed 1 3 times. Now let us see how we can use delete. So let me comment this part. This part is commented. Now we can write the code here. Here str is equal to a b c d e. This is the list. We are printing the str and deleting str of 4 and printing str again. Let us see the result. So initially we printed str, that is it has printed abcde, and we deleted str of 4. That means 0 1 2 3 4 is e has been deleted, so it has printed abcd. That's how you can delete an item here. Now let us see pop. Let us delete the whole code from here. Now let us see what does pop does. Here we have taken a list 1 2 3 4 5, printing that list 1 2 3 4 5 and print lst.pop, list.pop. That pop will pop out this last element 5, and then we are printing lst, then only 1 2 3 4 are left. We again popped out one more item, print lst.pop, it has popped out 4. Again print lst, now we have only 1 2 3 in the list. So similarly we continued here. Let us check. Initially it has printed the whole list and we have used the pop here, so it popped out the last element 5. Again we printed out the remaining list, again we popped out So last element 4 has been popped out. So it has printed the list 1, 2, 3. Again the same way it has printed 1, 2. Now let us look at DQ. With DQ we can pop out the elements from both sides. It's a double-ended queue. So from both sides we can pop out the elements. For that take from collections we are importing DQ. I taken a variable DQ of ABCDE and printing that variable DQ, and here DQ dot pop left. Previously we used pop in case of a list. Now we are popping from the left side of the DQ and print DQ, and here we take DQ dot pop and print DQ. Let us run this. So initially we have printed the DQ, that is DQ is ABCDE, and now we have popped out the from the left one element. So it is we have popped out A. So BCDE is the DQ that is showing up now because we use pop left, and then we have popped. We use pop. So it has popped out the right side element, that is E. So it is printing BCD. So that's how we can use DQ to pop out the elements from both sides of the queue. Now let us look at some built-in functions. We have num1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, num2 is equal to 4, 5, 6, and we are printing max of num1. Max of num1 is 3 and max of num2 is 6. Min of num1 is minimum of num1 is 1 and minimum of num2 is 4 here, and length of num2 is 3 because there are 3 items here. So let us run this. Here we have this max of num1 is 3, max of num2 is 6, min of num1 is 1, min of num2 is 4, length of num2 is 3. So that's how we can use these functions. Let us look into Python tuples. Here tuple can be represented using braces. So t1 is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. This is a tuple, and here we use braces. In lists we are using square brackets, so here we are using braces. Print t1 of 2, same as list. We have indexing here. 0th element is 1, first element is 2, second element is 3. So now t1 of 2 will be 3. Print t1 of 2 is to 4. That means this is the first element, and excluding this up to this last element, that is excluding 4. So the first element is 2, 2 is 3, and then the next element is 3, that is 4. Fourth element is 5, so we will exclude fourth element and we will include second element. So this will print 3 and 4. And let us take t2 is equal to a, b, c, d, e, and similarly we print t2 of 2, which will be c, and t2 of 2 to 4, which would be c and d. And t3 is equal to, we are taking numbers and alphabets, 1, 2, 3, a, b, c. Same, t3 of 2 is equal to 3, and t3 of 2 to 4, that is second element would be a, second element would be 3 because 0, 1, 2, and then the third element, because we are excluding fourth element, so the third element would be this a. Let us execute and see the results. The first one is it has printed 3 because T1 of 2. 2 is the second element is 3 in this. And here it has printed T1 of 2 is to 4, that is the second element and third element. We will exclude the fourth element. Second and third elements are 3 and 4. And T2 of 2, that is second element. Second element here in T2 would be C. So it has printed C. And 2 is to 4 is second and third elements. We are excluding fourth element. So C and D. Same is the case here in T3. We are taking both numbers and alphabets. So second element would be 3 and second and third elements excluding the fourth element would be 3 and A. Now let us add two tuples. So we'll take T1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and T4 is equal to 6, 7, 8 and T5 is equal to T1 plus T4. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 6, 7, 8. So when you add it and print that T5, all elements are added in this T5. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8 are added. And we can delete T5 as in list. We can use the del statement to delete T5, and when we print T5, because we have deleted it, we'll get error. Let us execute this. The initial print would be T5. That is T5 is T1 plus T4. That is, it is showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we have deleted T5. And then we are printing T5 again. So print T5 error. Name error. Name T5 is not defined because we use del to delete T5. So it is erroring out. Out of all collections, these tuples are not changeable. They are immutable. So let us see. Let's try to change and see. We can change it. So now T1 of 0th element is showing 1. I want to give it as 8. And then let's see whether we can assign it like this. And then print T1 because it is going to error out there itself. Let us see. T1 of 0 is equal to 8. Type error tuple. Object does not support item assignment. So you can't assign to that item because their tuples are immutable and you can't change the tuples. On dictionary. T1 equal to take name, let us say Peter, then street, Broadway, foot, colon, single quote, comma, state. State, let us say New York, and city, say it is New York City. Now let us print this T1 and print type of D1. Type of Now let us execute this. So initially it printed this D1 name Peter, street Broadway, state NYCT NYC, and printed type of D1 is class dict. That is, dict is dictionary. Now let us print list of D1. And at the same time let us print sorted of D1. Let us see these two. So list of D1, it has printed name, street, state and city. When you said sorted of D1, it has printed the alphabetical order: city, name, state and street. Now let us print D1 of street. Let us execute this. D1 of street. Be that code. So D1 of street is Broadway. Here we have defined Broadway. So we have key and the value pairs in a dictionary. Now let us print state in D1. Whether state exists in D1, and let us also print whether country exists in D1. Country in D1. Let us execute this. So whether state exists in D1, it gave us true because there is state there. The country exists in D1, false because there is no country there. Now let us add item country. So D1 of country is equal to US. Now print D1. So there is country has been added here. Now print D1 of country. Let us D1 of country is US. Now delete item country. Here print D1 dot of country. US is getting deleted. Now print D1. So the country has been deleted from here. D1 dot clear will remove all items, and delete D1 will remove the dictionary. Let us look into sets. Python sets, they are unordered and without duplicates, and they are represented by flower braces. So S1 is equal to 1 2 3 comma A comma B comma C in flower braces. This is a set, and here we are printing S1, and we are trying to find out what type is S1. It should give us it's a set, or we can represent a set using the set keyword. Is S2 is equal to A B C D, this one, and S3 is equal to set PQR CD. Let us execute. So initially we printed the set. It is, because it is unordered, it is giving us A1 2 3 C B, and print type of S1. Type of S1 is class set. Now let us see some manipulations of the sets. Here this part of the code we have completed, so let us comment this part of the code here. This one we need this S2 and S3. S2 has got ABCDE, ABCDE twice. S3 has got PQRCD. Now we are printing S2 and then printing S2 ampersand S3, printing S2 or S3, printing S2 caret S3, and printing S2 minus S3. Let us start without debugging. Now we are printing initially S2. S2 has got ABCDE twice, so it has removed the duplicates and given us ABCDE. But set is unordered, so it has given it in an unordered format, DACBE, and print S2 ampersand S3. So between S2 and S3 the common elements are C and D, so it has given us C and D here. S2 or S3. So whether in S2 or in S3 we has to give everything. So it has given us A, B, C, D, E. In this there are 8 elements, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it has got A, B, C, D and E, and then P, Q, R. So it has got all the elements. So it has this or this, S2 or S3. So it has taken what are there in S2 and what are there in S3 and remove the duplicates. S2 caret S3. So this has removed the common elements. The common elements between the two are C and D. So it has removed C and D and given us rest of the elements. And last one is S2 minus S3. And between S2 and S3 the common elements are C and D. So it has removed C and D and given us A, B, E. Because it has removed the duplicates, we got A, B, E, and C and D were removed from here. Because in S3 we have C and D, it has S2 minus S3 gives us BAE. While loop. Let us declare a variable x equal to 0, and while x is less than or equal to 5, then increment and print x and then increment x. Now let us execute this. 0. So we are starting with 0, while x is less than or equal to 5, we are printing x is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are incrementing x is equal to plus 1, and then printing the x. Now if we want to ignore 3 here and print 0, 1, 2 and 4, 5, then we'll use continue. So here, for that we have to say if x is equal to 3, x equal to 3, then have to continue. So if x is equal to 3, it shouldn't print. So we should get print to the end. So if x is equal to 3, it will continue to the again to the beginning of the while loop and check the condition. So print, we have brought it down, and this x is equal to x plus 1 will be incrementing the beginning. So when it reaches x is equal to 3, it will continue and it won't print, and it will print other numbers other than. Let us execute this now, check the result. So it has printed 1, 2, didn't print 4, it has printed 5 and 6, and it didn't print 0 because we have already done 0, I mean x is equal to x plus 1, that is it has incremented already before even printing. So what happens if we move this part after this? We'll start without debug. You can see here it has printed 0, 1, 2, but when it comes to 3, it will go on continuing because it is not incrementing here. So it is in loop, so it has stopped here. That's the reason why we are incrementing this one before this continue, and we are printing after this if statement. So let us execute now. Now it has printed 1, 2, and it has ignored 3, and it has printed 4, 5 and 6. Now let us look into infinite loop. X is equal to 0 while true, print x, and x is equal to x plus 1. So while true, it will print x and increment x by 1. So it will go on incrementing. Let us execute. It will go on incrementing. Now if you want to stop in between, then let us say if x is equal to 10, then we should use this column. X is equal to 10, then we will break. So if x is equal to 10, we will break. Until then, we'll keep on incrementing. So start without debugging. So it has printed from 0 to 10, and when it encountered 10, it has hit the loop. So we can use this break statement to exit out of the loop. So here this while true is an infinite loop, so we have breaked out of it using the break statement. Now let us look at if statement. I've taken this variable pwd for password, and we are getting input from the user. Input, enter password, and we are converting it to string str. And if pwd is equal to abc, we are printing it is right password, else we are printing wrong password. Let us execute this. So if I enter the abc, it will say it is right password. Let us execute again, and if I enter ef, it will say wrong password. So here we are given if statement, if and else. If this condition, then do this, else do this. Now let us combine while and if and see how we can write else if. Else if is elif here in Python. So here I have created this while loop. While true, x is a variable, we are getting a number from the user. Input, enter number, that means user enters the number. We are converting it to integer and assigning it to x, the variable x. If x is greater than 0 and x is less than or equal to 100, we are printing number is less than or equal to 100. Elif, that is else if. elif, x is greater than 100 and x is less than or equal to 150, print number is greater than 100 and less than or equal to 150. elif, x is greater than 150, print number cannot be greater than 150. And if it is else, it will break out of this loop. Now let us execute. Because we are in infinite loop while true, so it will keep on asking us the numbers and it will keep on giving us the response, and if it is greater than 150, it will come out of this loop. So first one is if is x is greater than 0 and x is less than or equal to 100, means if I give 10, number is less than or equal to 100. Now it is asking me, because it is while true loop, it is again asking me enter number. And the next one we are printing is x is greater than 100 and x is less than 150. So if I say 10, the number is greater than 100 and less than or equal to 150. So it has considered this elif statement. Elif, if x is greater than 150, print number cannot be greater than 150. So if I print 1c, then it will say number cannot be greater than 150. And if I enter other than the number, like if I enter a or b or something like that, it will should break. So if I enter a here, so it has broken out of the leaf, because it is trying to convert it to int, and then it has errored out. So for that, if I enter 0 now, suppose I enter 0, because initial condition is x is greater than 0. If I enter 0, then it will come out of the loop. And if we enter any alphabet characters, we have seen that it has error out, because here x is an integer. It is trying to convert that a we have entered to integer, and it has errored out. So if it is greater than 150, it is saying number cannot be greater than 150. And here we are starting the condition with x is greater than 0. So we have entered 0, then it has come to this else part, and it has broke out of the loop. Let us look into for loop. For x in range of 5, print x. Just to separate the next piece of code, I'm just printing AND here. For x in range of 3 comma 5, print x. And to separate this piece of code, I have written print of AND here, and this one is for x in ABCDE, print x. Let us run it and check the results. So in the first case, it is for x in range 5, print x. That is, indexing starts from 0. So it has printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. In range of 5 means 5 numbers. So it has printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it has printed now is n. Next part of the code is for x in range of 3 comma 5, print x. So it's starting from 3 up to 5. That is 3 and 4, including 3 and excluding 5. So it has printed range 3 comma 5 means starting from 3 and up to 5. That is 3 and 4. And this one excluding 5. And we have printed and. The next piece of code is, this is straightforward, for x in ABCDE, print x. ABCDE. Now let us look into break and continue with for loop. So here for x in range of 10, I'm printing x, and if x is equal to 5, I'm breaking it out, and here I'm incrementing x is equal to x plus 1. This print, and to separate this piece of code, I'm printing this n. For x in range 5, if x is equal to 3, continue, and I'm printing x. So the same logic which we have used previously for break and continue, executed. Now first part of the code is for x in range 10. So up to 10 it will go on printing, it print x, but if x is equal to 5, we are saying it to break and then increment. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has printed up to 5, and then it has breaked out of the for loop. And we have printed this and here. And for x in range 5, if x is equal to 3, we are saying continue. So it has printed 0, 1, 2 and skipped 3 because print is after this if statement. So it skipped 3 and then it has printed 4. So that's how we can use break and continue in the for loop. Now we will see how we will increment in for loop. Here in the range of 10 and range of 5, it is by default taking 1 as increment. So here, because we are even giving x is equal to x plus 1. Now let us take out this. Now for x in range, will start from 1, go up to 10 and increment by 2. So we'll print this. For x in range starting from 1 and up to 10, we will increment by 2. Let us execute this. So it has started from 1 and incrementing by 2. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So it will increment up to 10. So it has printed 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. Now let us see nested for loop. Here for x in range 1 comma 3, that means including 1 and excluding 3, and the nested for loop is for y in a comma b comma c. Here we are not giving range, we are saying for y in a b c. We are printing now. Here we have to give this column print x comma y. So this for loop is inside this for loop for x in range 1 comma 3, and for y in a comma b comma c we are printing x comma y. So debug, start without debugging. So it has initially come to 1 and it has taken this 1a, 1b and 1c and moved on to the next number, which is 2, and we should exclude 3. So 2a, 2b and 2c. So this is how the nested for loops can be created. Now let us find even and odd numbers between numbers 1 to 10. So here for x in range 1 comma 10, if x modulus of 2 is equal to 0, modulus of 2 means the remainder. If it is 0, then print x even, else print x odd. Let us execute this. So it has printed 1 is odd, 2 is even, 3 is odd, 4 is even, 5 is odd, 6 is even, 7 is odd, 8 is even, 9 is odd. So here, if x mod 2, if the remainder is 0, it has printed even, else it has printed odd. And in this for loop, it is going from 1 to 10. Now, we want to print only even numbers. We can just remove this part of the code, save it, debug, start without debugging. So it has printed even numbers 2, 4, 6 and 8. We can as well say here pass to here and take this. So it will print 2, 4 and 6 and 8. 2, 4, 6 and 8. So we can use this pass statement, or we can just remove that else part. This pass will be useful when you want to write a function and then you don't want to use it now, but you want to use it in a future point of time. You can use this pass statement. This means ignore this part of the code. So that's how we can print even numbers. Now let us print some Fibonacci numbers. These Fibonacci numbers are in this series, like 0 plus 1. The previous two numbers, if you add them, you will get the third number. 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is the next number 3, and 2 plus 3 is the next number 5, 5 plus 3 is the next number 8. That's how it will go on, the Fibonacci numbers. Let us use the while loop to print this series. So initially we have taken this x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1, and we'll print Fibonacci numbers less than 100. So while x is less than 100, we are printing x. So we are printing the x is 0 and y is 1 we have taken. So we are printing x, and then we are taking a variable p and adding x plus y, because we want to add these two and then get the next number. So p is equal to x plus y. Now we are moving this y to the, x to the y number. That means x is equal to y. X has become now 1 because previously y is 1. So now x has become 1. So it has moved from here. We started with x is equal to 0 and now x will be 1. And then y is equal to p. P is nothing but x plus y. That is this plus this would be p. So we are assigning y is equal to p, the next number. So let us execute. Now we have got 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89. The same series, we have achieved it. So here what we have done is we have taken x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1. That's where we are starting. And while x is less than 100, we are looping through. So till x is less than 100, we have went there. So now we are printing x. So it will print 0. And then we have assigned p is equal to x plus y. X plus y is 0 plus 1 is 1. So that will be the next number. And then we have assigned x is equal to y. So x has become now 1. And y is equal to p. Y has become now p. P is nothing but x plus y. That is the next number, which is 1. Y has become p. So this loop goes on until x is less than 100. And we have seen that it has printed the Fibonacci series 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89. Now let us print Fibonacci numbers with for loop. So here I have declared x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1, for z in range 1 to 100, printing x, and p is equal to x plus y. Just as in previous case, we have taken this p is equal to x plus y. And if y is greater than or equal to 100, then we are breaking out of the loop, and x is equal to y, y is equal to p. So here this is we have taken initially these two, x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1, and we are looping for z in range 1 to 100. We are printing x. So we are printing these numbers 0, 1, 1, and p is equal to x plus y. So these two we are adding and getting the third number p. And if y is greater than or equal to 100, we are breaking, and we are assigning y to x and p to y, so that it can go on. Let's execute this. Now you see 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 5, 89. So these are the Fibonacci numbers that we have printed using for loop. So we have seen both while loop and for loop in printing the Fibonacci numbers. Now let us print the prime numbers. Prime numbers are up to 100. These are the prime numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23 and so on. So let us print them. So for x in range 2, 100, and nested for loop for y in range 2, x, if x mod y is equal to 0, then we break, else we print the x. So if if it is divisible, then that means if x mod y is equal to 0, it's divisible other than the number itself, then we'll get the remainder 0. So we are breaking at that point of time, then we are printing the, else we are printing the x. So it has printed 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19 and so on up to 97, because we have limited x from 2 comma 100. So that's how we can print the prime numbers, Python variables. Here I have taken two variables x and y. X is equal to 1 and y is equal to 1. So I said x is equal to y is equal to 1. Print of x, print y. Here I am deleting x, del x deletes the x, and print x and then print y again. So let us see, execute. So initially x is equal to y is equal to, we have printed x is 1 and y is 1, and we have deleted x. So when we deleted x and trying to print x, we are getting this error, name error, x is not defined. So we didn't continue and print y because we have deleted. Now let us look at local variables. Local variables can be accessed inside function but not outside. So here I have taken a variable x is equal to global. So this is outside the function. Here I am defining this function def, and LCL is the function name. And here we are defining again x is equal to local. This x is local and that x is global. So here we are printing x and we are calling this LCL function here. So when we call this LCL function, it will print this x is local, and here we are printing x. This should be the global x. So let us execute this. So initially we called this LCL function, so it has printed x is local, and after that we came out of that function and then printed x again, and here the x is value is global. So the local and global variables can be declared in Python. Now if we want to access the same value inside and outside the function, then we say global variable can be accessed inside and outside the function. So here we use a global keyword inside the function def LCL. We are using the global keyword global x. X is equal to, I have defined this as a global and local. Just the value for that is global and local. Print inside comma x. So this part is inside we are printing inside the function, and we are calling that LCL function as before, and here we are printing outside the function, outside and then x, because this is being declared as global x. This can be accessed both inside and outside. Let us see what does. So inside it is printed as global and local, and outside also it is printed as global and local. So same value we are accessing inside and outside the function. That's how we can use the global keyword to access the same value inside and outside the function. Now let us look at non-local variable. So initially we'll look at the execution without non-local variable. That's why I commented this part of the code, and then we'll uncomment this part of the code and see what is the difference when we take this non-local variable. So here I have taken x is equal to a and defined this function fn, and inside the function fn I defined x is equal to b, and this fn function has got these functions. Function fn1, which has got x is equal to local. X has been assigned to this local variable. Now definition of function f2, but fn2 we have commented currently, and there is one more function fn3. Here we have declared x as global and x has been assigned global. Now inside this fn function, now initially we called this fn1 and printed x. I denoted this keywords because we know which x it is printing. So this part we currently commented. We'll uncomment it later and see, and we are seeing the difference between local and between non-local and local and global. fn3. Now we called fn3 and print x fn3, and again we called fn1 and printing x again. Inside this, all these functions are inside this main function fn. So here when we come out of this fn, I am calling this main function and printing x again here, and this is outside that function. That's why I just commented it as out. And now debug, start without debugging. Now let us compare the code and see. Here I have copied the code onto a notepad, and let us see now. Here x is equal to a, and this one, what is the first print statement? Here we call the fn here, so it will enter this fn function, and then inside this fn function we call fn1. So it will go here, and here x is local, but there is no print statement inside this fn1 function because this variable is local to this fn1 function. So x can't be local when we are giving a print statement here. So at this point x will be b, because inside this fn x is b. So it has printed the b fn1. So this part is b fn1, and then we call this part we have commented currently, so let us leave that, and then we call fn3. fn3 is this function. Here we are given global x and x is equal to global, but x, and when we give print of x here, it won't take global because global will be outside this fn function. So it will the global will come here. So x fn3 has printed again b, because we didn't give any local statements inside this fn3 function, local print statements inside this fn3 function. So here also print x fn3, here also it has printed b fn3, and then we call fn1 again. So fn1 again the same as previously, because it has taken b as x and has printed b fn1, and it came out of that function. And here this x is a here. Instead of printing a, it has printed global, because we have declared here global x, and that global x, and when we call this function fn3 here, that a has been replaced with global, this variable x is equal to global, and here it has printed out this global out. So now let us uncomment the fn2. fn2 is the non-local variable. This is fn2 function. We have declared x as non-local and given assign x is equal to non-local, and here also we'll call it, so uncomment this print x fn2, and now we'll execute it again. Now let's see. So fn as called this function fn, and this is fn1. Here we called fn1, and we are given print statement here x fn1. So here it has taken fn1 has taken, because x is local here, local variable, we are given outside that fn1 function. So this x has taken b as before. So it has printed b fn1. Now we have uncommented this there in that actual code. So we called fn2 and printed x fn2. So it went to fn2, and here it is we declared non-local x, and x is equal to non-local, and this hasn't got any, any scope inside this fn2 function. So it can come out of that, because it is non-local, it is not local to this fn2 function. Outside also this applies. So x is equal to non-local. So when we said print x fn2, then it has printed non-local here and fn2. And when we call fn3, it goes to fn3, and here we declare global x is equal to global, because this is outside the function fn. Here also x fn3 also, it has still non-local applies here. So it has printed non-local fn3. And then we called fn1 again. Here when we called fn1 initially, before calling the non-local function, when we printed it, it has taken b fn1. But when we called fn1 again, after calling this non-local variable function fn2, then now it has taken x as non-local. So it has printed non-local fn1, and then it will come out of this function, and we are printing it x here, because x here is a global x is equal to global. This a has been replaced by global, and it has printed global out. So when you declare it as non-local x, then outside this function fn2 also, it has taken that non-local whatever we assigned x inside this fn2 function, that has applied as long as we are in this fn function. That's why it has printed non-local fn2, non-local fn3, and non-local fn1 again here. So that's the difference between non-local and local and global variables functions. You can define a function using dgf and the function name, any parameter we want to passing num as parameter, and then a column. Then you can write the code inside the function. So here I'm returning num to 2. So if we pass any number as num, then it will double that number and then returns it. So let us call this function and pass 5 as parameter and capture that inside a variable and in that and. So 5 into 2 is 10, because num is 5, we are passing 5, it returned num into 2, this 5 into 2 is 10. Now let us see another example of function with update. Delete this. Now let us take a list item LST fruit is equal to apple, then orange, then grapes. Pass this to a function fn, then here say print LST fruit. We're printing this elastic fruit now, and then we're adding one more item, peers. It x is equal to peers, then elastic fruit dot update. Here we are adding this x and returning that x. Now go here and call that function, and then pass this elastic list item. Here come down and then print elastic fruit again. So here inside the function we are printing elastic fruit before updation, that is it contains apple, orange and grapes, and inside the function we have updated it to pears. We have added one more item. So when we call this function and print elastic fruit again, then it should have that new item. Vectors. So initially when we printed, it has printed orange, apple and grapes, and after that it has printed orange, apple, pears and grapes. So that's how we can update this using function. Now let us say lambda function. Let's take a variable, say lambda e comma r, and I'll define this as p plus q plus r. We call this x pass sum 555. So we have defined it as p plus q plus r. So it should add up all these things and give us the total. It has given us 15. Let us take another example. Y is equal to, take some other letters, a comma c, and these should be a, b, print plus print y of 2 comma 2 comma 2. So the 2 into 2 into 2 should be 8. Previously we added those values 5 plus 5 plus 5. Now we have multiplied 2 into 2 into 2, that is 8. So that's how we can use this lambda function. Now let us see how we can use lambda in a function. Let us define a function as a variable x. Here we will return lambda y plus x. Now here we'll call that function fn. We call it 3, and we'll capture it inside a variable p, and then we'll print p, and then we'll pass again 2 to p. So this 3 will go as x because function has got this x as parameter, and this, when you call this p of 2, that will be y. Now let us execute this. So it is 5. So here we have defined a function and we have returned lambda y plus x, and we call that function with value 3, captured it in p, and for p we pass the value 2. So 3 plus 2 would be 5. That's how we can use this lambda inside a function.